Are you suffering from anxiety? Anxiety can be a crippling health challenge that robs you of your quality of life and your self-esteem. Anxiety is a non-specific symptom, meaning that the fact that you have anxiety does not tell us where the anxiety is coming from. It could be coming from neurocognitive issues. It could be coming from blood sugar issues. It could be coming from an autoimmune issue. It could be coming from a gut issue or many other potential contributors. Today, I want to focus on autoimmune-driven anxiety to help you understand why you may not be receiving help from psychotherapy or anti-anxiety drugs for your generalized anxiety disorder. There are many people out there that are on anti-anxiety medications such as Xanax that aren't being helped. They have psychotherapists and are not being helped. Well, if your anxiety is driven by an autoimmune process, those things will not help you. So today we want to dive into autoimmune-driven anxiety so you can understand the process and understand why you may not be helped and how you can investigate whether or not autoimmune process is behind your anxiety. If you're interested in more information on autoimmune disease, I've written a best-selling book on Amazon called The Autoimmune Answer, and I'd be happy if you bought that to educate yourself further. But let's dive into today's video. I'm Dr. John Bartemus, and I'm putting the pieces together to help you live a life at optimal. So you've been diagnosed by your doctor with Generalized Anxiety Disorder, or GAD for short. What are the diagnostic criteria for Generalized Anxiety Disorder? The criteria are that you've had anxiety more days than not for a 6-month period, and you've had 3 or more symptoms of anxiety. What are symptoms of anxiety? Symptoms include anxiety, right? Symptoms include difficulty sleeping. It might be headaches. It might be moodiness. It might be increased sweating. It could be various things, okay? Panic is a common one. So often I have patients that come in and they say they have anxiety and they've had anxiety for a long time, and then more recently they've had panic for the first time ever. And so, you know, in conventional medicine, people are often diagnosed with anxiety without any sort of diagnostic workup or any sort of lab testing. It's just, hey, doc, I've been anxious for 6 months, I'm not sleeping well, I've had some heart rate issues and some panic, so they call that generalized anxiety disorder, and they could prescribe you a benzodiazepine medication such as Xanax and or send you for psychotherapy. So you take the medication, you go for psychotherapy, and you're feeling no better, okay? That's unfortunately a common occurrence or a common report with the people I see in my office, and so that's a trigger for you that you need to do more investigative work. You need a detective to help you figure out what's behind your anxiety. Remember, anxiety is a non-specific symptom. The fact that you've been diagnosed doesn't tell us where it's coming from, okay? So if your anxiety is driven by blood sugar imbalance, the Xanax isn't going to help you. Neither is the therapy, okay? If your anxiety is driven by an autoimmune disorder, the Xanax isn't going to help you, and the psychotherapy isn't going to help you. So we want to dive in today to look at the autoimmune contribution to anxiety. And even in the autoimmune realm, there's multiple autoimmune diseases that can drive anxiety. The most common one in the United States, the most common autoimmune disease in the United States is Hashimoto's disease, which is thyroid autoimmunity, and anxiety is a common symptom with that. So it may be that. There's others as well, but I want to focus on an autoimmune process that directly impacts the neurotransmitter physiology that can drive anxiety in a given case today. So let's dive into that. We first want to understand some neurotransmitter information. In our brain, our neurons communicate with neurotransmitters. So neuron to neuron, This neuron's going to talk to this neuron. This neuron has to secrete a neurotransmitter that crosses the space and then binds this neuron, and the signal is propagated. Well, the excitatory neurotransmitter, the most excitatory neurotransmitter in the brain, and the most common excitatory neurotransmitter in the brain is called glutamate. Okay, so we'll put glutamate here, and think of glutamate as the gas pedal. If you want to propagate a signal and you want to do something, glutamate is going to be involved in that process to step on the gas and make the nervous system go. So that's glutamate. Now, if you have anxiety, the inhibitory neurotransmitter GABA is very important for you. Okay? GABA is our anti-anxiety neurotransmitter. And the way that benzodiazepine medications work, such as Xanax, is that they increase the stimulation of GABA receptors to promote a calming effect. Okay? And so what's interesting here is in our physiology, the way it works is the gas pedal in our body, glutamate, gets converted to become the brake pedal, which is GABA. So where in your life have you heard the term glutamate before? If you're into nutrition at all, you may have heard of monosodium glutamate, or MSG, right? And you want to avoid that, right? Because some people get migraines from MSG or headaches from MSG. Why? Well, MSG is monosodium glutamate. It's a food additive that companies put into the food because it's excitatory and it makes your brain think the food tastes better than it does. If your brain thinks that, then you're going to buy more, right? Well, MSG is excitatory, and in certain people can drive migraines, headaches, and things like that. Excitotoxicity, which can go migraines, headaches, seizures, neurodegeneration, all kinds of issues. And I've made a video on neuroexcitotoxicity in the past. You can check it out above. So, glutamate, gas pedal, excitatory. Works so well that the food industry adds it to food to excite you into liking their food more so that you buy more. Well, glutamate, the gas pedal, also becomes the brake pedal in normal physiology so you can calm down. How does that happen? Via conversion. This arrow represents an enzymatic process, and there's an enzyme called GAD65 that converts glutamate to GABA. Enzymes are proteins that do work. In order for an enzyme to do work, it requires nutrient cofactors to be able to work. GAD65 requires magnesium, iron, and vitamin B6. And vitamin B6 is the rate-limiting step of the enzyme, meaning this absolutely must be there in sufficient quantities for this to go forward and give you your anti-anxiety brake pedal. If you're lacking B6, you're going to have a bottleneck at glutamate. You're going to be excitatory. And at a lesser level, if you're lacking iron and or magnesium, you're also going to have a bottleneck or a traffic jam here, and you're going to be excitatory, and you're going to be lacking your brake pedal. So that would be a nutrient insufficiency or deficiency driven cause of anxiety. If you're lacking any of these and this isn't going forward, then you'll be anxious because you're lacking your anti-anxiety neurotransmitter. But the autoimmune process that can cause anxiety is developing antibodies to GAD65. So there are people out there that have anxiety because their immune system is attacking the GAD65 enzyme. So again, if you attack the GAD65 enzyme and wipe it out, you're going to get a bottleneck of excitation. Just like if you were nutrient deficient here, you would get a bottleneck of excitation. So if you're someone with anxiety and with panic and the associated symptoms, and you aren't being helped by the standard treatments of psychotherapy and or benzodiazepine medications, you should do further investigation to find out where is the underlying cause to your anxiety. As we talked about in this video, could be autoimmunity, could be Hashimoto's, could be antibodies to GAD65, could be other autoimmune processes, could be nutrient deficiencies in the cofactors that are needed for the enzyme to move forward and make your anti-anxiety neurotransmitter. It could be blood sugar dysfunction. It could be a whole host of other issues, but this video is focused on the autoimmune process. The point though is, if you're not being helped by conventional treatment, you need more investigative work. You need a detective to partner with you to tease out and understand your puzzle and help you find the contributing factors so that you can address those and get back to naturally producing anti-anxiety GABA and return to the quality of life you used to have. I do that every day. I'd love to partner with you in helping you achieve that goal. At the minimum, if you like this video, please share it. Please hit that subscribe button below and the notification bell so that you can receive each and every video that comes out. I'm Dr. John Bartemus, and I'd love to meet you and help you achieve your goals so that you can reach a life at optimal.